poster out there. Ladies and gentlemen, please drink for joy. You need to.
Claudia,
yes.
why have you decided not to do any more swimsuit shoots?
You guys are coming up with good questions today.
What did he say? Swimsuits.
Why have you decided not to do any more swimsuit shoots?
I'm going to be 50 August 10th. Don't you think I'm a little long in the tooth to keep taking my kid off to the side? Let me tell you something, but I did Playboy at 38, and they paid me a lot of money. I ain't doing this crap again unless I get a lot of money, okay? I mean, we're going downhill from there. I'm happy to take it off again. I'm happy to do a complete spread for 550. That sounded really horrible. However, it's kind of raised the price just a little bit. Come on, man. Really? No, seriously. I decided that I would go out with just a nice, tasteful last shot for my 50th. And that's why I did the last shot. Look, can I just talk to you privately later? We'll get over this. Just make a little deal on the side. Well, that sucked the room. No more questions.
Oh Lord, oh God.
We're gonna start drinking.
To a great start.
Yeah, we're off to a killer start. Off with a bang. No questions?
I have one.
Yes, thank God.
It's for Leah. Interstellar was incredible. Can you talk about your time doing that movie?
Yeah, finally. I was they said they would sell off my firstborn if I talked about it before it came out. So now I can. Do you have a specific question about the show? I only shot the first part, so.
I guess just your time on screen, just your scenes, like how was it just being a part of it, I
Being
guess?
a part of Interstellar. So, who's seen Interstellar? Oh, yes, you're good. Yeah, Interstellar. So, Chris Nolan is incredibly, incredibly secretive. Wildly secretive. So, when we auditioned, the audition that I did for the part that I actually got was Chris Nolan's brother's friend wrote a play in high school about Judy Blume, the author. And they took an excerpt from that, and I didn't know that, and I googled what the movie was about, and I saw it was about wormholes, and I figured out how that scene was about a wormhole, and I explained it to him, and he was like, whoa, dude. So anyway, so he's very secretive, and when I booked the part, I was waiting for the script, I'm like, guys, I'm flying to Calgary to shoot this soon, I really would like the script, and they said, oh yeah, you're not getting the script. I was like,
Woody Allen.
I was like, okay, am I getting anything? And they said, yeah, we're gonna send you your sides to your house. They wouldn't send them to the agency, which is what they would normally do, but they had to be signed by me. I had to sign a confidentiality agreement like this first. Then they handed them to me, and I pulled them out, and it failed to say which part I was. Or what my scene was about, or what the movie was about. I knew nothing. And if you've seen the movie, it's confusing when you're watching it, never mind if you have 3 pages of it. So I memorized everybody's parts, and I thought, oh, well, when I get there, I'll be able to talk to whomever these other people might be. I still didn't know who else was cast in the movie. And then Chris Nolan shoots really fast. So by the end of the 3rd week, we were 3 days ahead of schedule.
Wow, that's unheard of.
Wow. 3 days ahead of
That's
schedule.
incredible.
He watches the dailies at the end of every single day. He was, seriously,
Yeah,
yes.
like he's cutting in his head.
Oh, definitely. And
Wow.
he was sending the film to LA, and it was being shipped back to Calgary. They'd send a car for it, they'd pick it up, and he'd watch it at the end of the day, and still make his days, and was 3 days ahead of schedule. It was madness.
Oh.
So I got called in early, and then I was the last scene of the day, and I was on set at 10:30 in the morning, in blocking. Hair dripping wet in my street clothes, and I had no chance to talk to any actor. I thought maybe the wardrobe person can tell me what the heck is going on, you know. So I showed up on set.
Know what you were doing.
I had no idea what I was doing, and I'm with Jessica Chastain, Casey Affleck, Chris Nolan, and me. Yay!
Which part?
No, or what the movie's about. And so he comes in, and I met him at the callback. He goes, oh, Leah, nice to see you again. Thanks so much for coming out. So are you good? And my voice, I don't know, I sounded like I've been sucking me in. I'm like, no, Chris, I don't know what this movie's about. happens to people when you work with me. And then he told me a story about a fellow that he worked with on one of the Batman movies, and he said there was hundreds of extras in the scene, and he was trying to keep it all on the down low. And he said it was kind of hard because there's all these extras, so he kind of whispered to the guy, so you're good? Everything's fine? And the guy's like, yeah, man, I'm fine. I'm driving a train. And then Chris is like, oh, no. You're a terrorist. You're out to kill everybody. And the actor was like, oh, may I have 5 minutes, please? So we sat down and he explained what our scenes were about. I still don't know what the movie was about, but he explained what my scenes were about. And Jessica learned a few things. He had changed some stuff up. And then we just played for 4 days. And it felt like we were shooting in Indy. My one thing that I was supposed to do was Jessica comes in, tells me we have to leave, and we go. And Chris would come in and go, this time, don't leave. and everything was improv. Everything was improv.
Any of the other actors read the whole entire script?
Yes, I'm quite sure I was one of the only ones who didn't get to read this. I'm quite sure, because I was one of the only ones who didn't have an Oscar. I felt like yes, yeah. But then it was cool when I went to go and watch it at the premiere because I had no idea what the movie was about. Wow! Great. It was wild. It is wild. It was really fun.
You know what Woody Allen does, doesn't he?
I've
He
heard.
just gives you like one
Yes.
page or something at a time.
Yeah.
You're just supposed to know.
Wing it.
Yeah.
That's what Chris said. You
Yeah.
just wing it. Yeah, it's fantastic.
All those artistic types.
Do you consider yourself a feminist? For anybody who wants to answer, do you consider yourself a feminist? Why or why not?
I love being a girl, I love being a woman, I love being a minx, I love characters that are strong and intelligent and complex and hold their own and can pull off a really cool fight scene, can take down a guy in any situation and also make them rise as well. Oh, that sounded all kinds of but, it's very rare that you get, I'm so blushing, am I not really in the seats right now? I think it's so rare that you get characters that are really challenging and complex and intriguing and that you just fall in love with. So they're the kind of scripts that I adore and I love. And recently, one of the reasons that I left Australia to move to America is that I didn't, and I know that they have a place, the Home and Away and the Neighbours and all that kind of stuff, but I can't see myself ever doing anything like that because I want to tell stories that are good, and I'm so sick of turning on television and seeing nonsense. Hundreds and hundreds of channels of fluff, so it's so rewarding when you are an actress and you read a script that really excites you and really invigorates you, and they're the types of roles that I love and I adore, and I think women are beautiful and intriguing and need to be watched more.
It took me forever to be able to wear a bra. It took me forever to be able to fit into one. And when I finally got mine, I thought, oh, I will never burn this. I remember when all the burnings were going on in the bras, and I'm like, no, I'm holding on to this. Yes, I love strong women. I am a strong woman. And, but I enjoy being a girl. It's I don't really have, too many alternatives here. So, yeah.
Oh, yes, you do.
I'll pass on that.
I hear you.
Claudia?
Yes, what have you
I
had
told
to
Jewel
add
my
in?
answer, and she's not willing to share it. So. You had a question next to yes.
How do you think? How would you compare changes for women in sci-fi in the last 5 years to maybe like the last 10 years?
Well, that leaves me out of the question. 20 years ago.
Or 20?
Before your time. I know, the driver that drives. Can I bitch for a second? So I'm not stuck in Seattle at a hotel like some people. I'm in Tukwila. 45-minute drive. Because I know somebody must be staying at the Westin or wherever. Yeah. No?
Tukwila rocks.
Okay. We have refrigerators in our room. And full kitchens. However, let me explain something. There's no stores to buy anything. Walking distance. To put in the fridge.
I get this, so I arrived there yesterday too because
You're in Tukwila?
I'm in Tukwila.
And
And they do have a shuttle bus that will take you straight to Target.
I went to Target.
They offered me a $55 car. They said $55 to get anywhere. I was like,
No, there's a shuttle. You're using Uber.
I called an Uber.
Right, there's a shuttle.
No, Uber was half that, 28.
I took the shuttle, got to Target, and I'm like, I'm going to buy some steak, I'm going to buy some eggs, I'm going to buy some mushrooms, avocado, tomato. And I get back, and there's no stove. There's a whole kitchen in that thing, but there's no stove. I'm like, I call them.
You have to go to the front desk.
Yes, and then
You can get one from the front desk.
there's a big stove, so I go down, I pick up my stove. That's to do it, I put it up, and I'm about to fry my eggs and steak. And then there's no fry pan. And I'm like, hi, is there a frying pan in the room? And they said, I'm sorry, what? And I said, a frying pan. And she goes, a drawing pan? No, not a pan to draw with, a pan to fry with. And she goes, yes, we can send up a pan. I'm like, no, I don't want a pan. I want a frying pan. So last night I went down and it was JG and a couple of the crazy Klingons, and we all sat down there and I ate raw mushrooms. I had some Pinot Grigios, and that's what my little Jesus is about.
So that's, what was the question?
Women in sci-fi.
Oh, yeah.
Tukwila stuff.
That was the point of my story, was back in the day. Damn it, they put me in a hotel where the convention was going. And you got what's called a fee. To show up. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm joking, literally. I noticed that the costumes are sexier than 20 years ago. That's what I'm not going to answer that question because I've been talking about Tukwila too much, but I'm going to leave it to Jewel, who hasn't said a damn word. Jewel Staite has not said a darn word.
But I just did. I've never been to Tukwila.
She's staying at the Westin just because she's pregnant.
Excuse.
I'm pulling pregnancy cards.
To do with anything.
Jewel, give him a couple of burps as you promised.
I didn't say you're hiccuping. This is so gross.
She's so good at it.
I'm gonna try and give you an answer as best I can to that question. How has sci-fi changed for roles for women? Well, I think we get a heck of a lot more scripts written for stronger ladies now than we ever did before. It's not just people running around in fur bikinis. Am I right? Which is kind of nice. Although
that would be fun.
Yeah, Claudia.
What am I supposed to say?
No, you're right there. You're right.
Jewel in a
Nice
fur
and warm
bikini, like,
too.
who wouldn't see that show?
Well, maybe not. But I still think they have a really long way to go. Right?
Yeah.
I, for one, my little dream of the moment, my manifesting of the moment, I want to play a captain of a ship.
Hey!
That's my dream. And there hasn't been enough of those, and it's high time for another one.
I ended up general.
I know you did, but I don't get
That was 20 years ago!
Yeah, but you need to be a captain.
Captain
you need a
Starbuck.
big boss.
Captain.
Yeah.
Right?
Basically Ron Moore needs to write more sci-fi.
Yeah.
Because Ron Moore does not write for gender. It's very rare he writes for
What
gender.
about Captain Janeway?
Aren't they doing a female version of Thor?
Yeah.
So that would be pretty cool.
Is it what?
They're doing a sorry, is it the accent?
No.
Aren't they doing a female version of Thor?
Female version of Thor?
Yes. Oh, I should have told you girls. Now we're like, we'll compete for it. They actually are, which would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Thor-esque.
Thor.
You all need to go to Ghostbusters, where all the leads are female.
Yeah. Well, they've done a lot of great female comedies now that are making tons of money. So hopefully that, and I don't think they make enough movies for the people who can pay for movie tickets, which are people over 60. You know, seriously, they're retired. They have all the time in the world. They don't want to see 20-year-olds. They don't want to see Twilight. They want to see people their own age. That's an untapped market. I mean, that's, you know. So I'm going to make the geriatric squad. SAG, the movie.
Question, the shiny shirt.
Thank you. So, in a world where women still make about 70 cents towards every dollar that a man makes, how do you think your roles that you play help further the case for women to be considered more equal in society?
The aliens were paid more than me, I bet. Let's put that to your cast members.
Well, I worked for the Crofts. I think that's all I really need to say. Yeah, they would rather pay us less than 70 cents on the dollar.
Yeah, I don't know what you, I don't know if you guys realize it, but a lot of my career I've been unemployed. Because for every yes, you get a million no's. So you've got to have a really positive outlook, and you've got to find ways. Like my mum called me up the other day and she goes, I just don't know how you haven't thrown yourself in front of a bus. Good talk, Mum, good talk. You just hear, no. All right, I get it. But it was actually a compliment, I think. But it was about, keeping a positive frame of mind and using those things to help you get stronger and help you reinvent yourself. But the talk about the money side of things is that in Farscape days, I was a baby and I got paid exuberant amounts of money that I spent on all my friends, and because I knew that when I ran out, it would all come back. My dad's like, save up. I'm like, for how are you, Dad? So there's ways to, as my career's gone on, I've actually think I've got paid less and less because there's a lot more competition. My last big long term, I was leading lady on a television series in Australia for 3 seasons. And the money was a disaster. And I said, this is ridiculous to my agent. I said, this is crazy. This isn't even, I've never been paid this low before. And they said, well, we haven't told the other actress no yet, so do you want the role or not? And I was like, I'll take it. So it's really, and then you've got to also think, not to be negative about it, but your agent then takes 10%. If you have a lawyer, if you have an accountant, tax. So by the end of it, you get next to nothing, and plus also we don't work necessarily the whole year through. Sometimes our shoots can be a month long or a few months long, so that minimum wage almost needs to get you through however long. So it's such a blessing when you do get on a long-term series of 5 years or 3 years or anything longer than a day, and save those pennies. But yeah, it's definitely a challenging. I think it's good to be honest with people. You guys will come up to the table and you're so loving and so nervous sometimes, and half the time I'm more nervous speaking to you guys and feel more humble because I think, we're just as real as all you guys, and we've got our debts to pay, and we every day we try and come up with new and intriguing ways how to sort that out. So back to the nude shoot, if anyone's offering.
Just kidding.
I did a show. I won't say which show, but
I love it when people do that. They say
well, because when it came time for my contract renewal, we found out, meaning my agents and I found out that the boys were being paid more. And we didn't like that. So we asked for the equivalent of, and they said no, and we said, okay, thanks. See ya. And called their bluff. And it was really scary, but it was also really empowering for me to say no and to walk away, because I truly felt that I deserved as much as they did. I was on time, they weren't. And I was getting really mad about it. And sure enough, a few days went by and they called back and said, okay. For me to learn to say no. And it's the scariest thing in the world, because of everything that Gigi just said. You know, we all go through these periods where we're like, oh my God, I'm never gonna work again. And then something always comes along eventually, but you know, there are those scary moments, and it sucks to have to say no, but sometimes it's really necessary. Because you maintain your self-respect, and it teaches them that they don't have anything on you. They don't have anything above you, and you deserve more, and sometimes it's worth saying no.
I just turned down a $100 a day job on a low-budget film.
See?
No, seriously, nowadays when they do those SAG signatory low-budget film things, and they go, well, we'll give you a signing bonus. And then you do the math. You sit down and you say, okay, my agent's going to take 10%, even though it's nothing. My manager's going to take 10%, even though it's nothing. And they're paying you $100 a day because it's supposed to be some big director from Spain who's going to be hot.
And you're going to shoot it in Bolivia.
Oh, you go, no, seriously. These are the new SAG signatory, honest to goodness, union contracts where they're allowed to offer actresses. And normally you work 14, 16 hours a day, maybe? So you do the math. Trickle down that to $80 for the day and then break it into that. And
not worth it.
It's crazy, and you think to yourself, well, unless there's somebody extraordinary in the cast or some really bona fide extraordinary director or producer that really is heavily involved with it and this is their love project, get a job at Starbucks. I mean, seriously. Sometimes it's scary, which I believe you have to diversify now. There's so many, you know, as you said, the competition and everything and all the reality shows and everything. So you think about what you're passionate about, what do you love to do, and can you get paid to do it? And that's really where you find your second and third and fourth things to spread out. You know, you can write, you can direct things, you can make films, you can, whatever you love. But if you're artistic, it's hard because it's usually in that artistic field. It's not like I'm going to go, I'm going to become a brain surgeon now. That sounds good. Yeah, I'd have to go back to school.
I was going to say too about what Jewel said. It's the strangest thing in this business. Not necessarily with me, because I'm not hot enough to say that at this point. But a lot of people I see around us, friends, that once they say no, they want you even more, which is the weirdest thing ever. Because I think they go, "What do you mean no? What do you mean you don't want that?"
Putting a high price tag on something,
and
you
then
think it's worth more.
Yeah, and then they think that you're worth more, or
Exactly.
well, maybe there's something we don't know about this person. Maybe they're going to be like the next biggest thing ever, and we got to jump on this before somebody else does. And all of a sudden, they want you so much more just because you said no, and it's really strange. It's about hype and about it's the weirdest thing, but I think
you put a value on yourself.
it's so true. But I think it's just so important for women too, especially in this industry, to not just sit there and wait. I think it's really important to take things into your own hand, and whether that is that you're writing your own thing or that you're trying to produce your own thing, making your own thing, whatever, making a web series, whatever it is, but to take charge and not to be sort of, waiting there for somebody to validate you, but to do it yourself. And who knows, something possibly great will come out of it. And I think that's important.
And it's all a game too, like it's like that whole fake it till you make it thing. Like all the time when we do these contract negotiations, a lot of the time it's our agents, playing a game to see what they can get. I mean, my agent is totally crazy. So she says all kinds of things, and a lot of the time they go for it. She'll be like, what are you talking about, honey? She's an Academy Award nominee. And they're like, she was nominated for an Oscar? And she's like, well, no, hon, but she will be one. to get off the phone with this crazy bitch. She's so nuts. And suddenly we have a contract. And it's signed. And then I go to work.
This business is so filled with ups and downs. It's probably like any other field. But it also contains this one thing that is just this spark of magic, and it can hit you at any given time during your low periods. And it comes as such a surprise. And Rick Springfield, I think we should all give him a round of applause for all of those times in every dive and every person. There was one person audiences that he would perform Jesse's Girl to. And would he ever dream in a million years that he would be called back to the main big screen and co-star against one of our best actresses of the day? And that's the kind of magic that can happen in this business. Just when you think your career is over, bam, you can get hit with such a beautiful, toss of the fairy dust, and it's amazing.
Have you girls had because I had a good run from 12 to about 30. I had a good solid run. And so blessed, and I thought that was what it was all about. And then from about 30 on, that's when there were moments, a couple of months would go by, and I'm trying to find a gig or whatever else, and then I got a leading lady on this show for a season, and all the producers come in, they're like, oh, this is the best thing, it's going to be huge, it's going to win, we call them Logies, it's your equivalent to an Oscar, it's such a bad name, Logies, you're going to win all the Logies, whatever else, and the next day the show's canned. And it's really weird because we fall in love with our characters and the stories so passionately and so deeply, but then you realise it is actually just a numbers game, and if the ratings aren't there, or sometimes even if the ratings are there, then the show's gone. So it's only been in these last few years that it started to hit me hard, and I've gone, geez, do I really want to be in this business? I used to do it because I love telling stories and I wanted to challenge myself, and it was all about, falling into this make-believe land and entertaining people and learning other walks of life. And then now I'm watching the ratings, and now I'm watching the reviews, and I feel like something shifts sometimes, and I need to fall in love with the truth of it again, which is why the Kickstarter thing and the Indiegogo stuff has kind of reignited something in me, because I've been working with these people that are truly passionately excited about the vision, and it's not producers trying to make people happy in the ratings and the this and the that, it's fans wanting to tell a cool story and a true story and not lose the artistic integrity. So that's kind of been a new wave for me that's excited me about the industry, and I'm still doing the auditions for the big wigs and stuff like that, but I found the Kickstarters and the Indiegogos are really, really exciting. And at first I was quite scared of it because I didn't want to beg for money. I'm like, I'm a professional actress, I don't want to be, you guys have supported us enough. And then I was at a signing and I had a little thing for the first, this Kickstarter that we did called Hashtag. And it was, a little postcard, a pile of postcards on the side of the thing. And after someone had bought a photo and a photo op and all that stuff, they go, oh, what, is that a Kickstarter? I'm like, oh yeah, it's yeah. And they're like, oh my gosh, what's it about? And I'm like, well. And you realise how excited people are to all come together and make amazing projects together. So that's been a really cool turn in my journey. And it ignited the fire in my soul again for acting, so thank you.
Speaking of women in sci-fi, Luciana Goro just tweeted that she's on her way over here.
So it can be announced now? I'm dying to tell everybody.
Luciana's coming. She's on the train.
I was wondering who inspired you guys in the sci-fi world to, which women in sci-fi inspired you in the past, basically?
The only woman I ever saw was Sigourney Weaver. Serena Williams. The way she hits that tennis ball in space. Oh my God.
Did you say favorite actresses? Does it have to be about sci-fi?
Yes, it has to be about sci-fi.
Well, you girls, of course.
You're so yummy.
I I don't know who the girl, I should know, but this is really uncouth, but whoever
Serena
is
Williams?
Run Lola Run, I adore her. She's amazing. What's her
She
name?
was great. Isn't she the German actress?
The German.
Yes. Her name is
She's
Yeah,
fantastic.
she's great.
She's
She was in Mission
awesome.
Impossible too, wasn't she?
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Not Mission Impossible,
Born Identity.
Maggie Gyllenhaal. She's awesome. Love Maggie Gyllenhaal. She's awesome, awesome, awesome. I love Kate Blanchett, but doesn't everybody?
Oh, as far as an actress? Oh, I'm gonna have to go old school. I like Katharine Hepburn.
Sigourney Williams is so hot. And Alien, oh. I'm sorry, they're still making me.
Patricia Arquette.
I'm still taking the piss out of me.
Patricia Arquette, True Romance, Patricia Arquette.
There you go.
Katharine Hepburn in her slacks. You remember when she brought slacks to ladies? No. She brought pants to women.
Jodie Foster in The Accused. Amazing.
She was in a sci-fi stuff.
Contact.
I
know, now I'm just
What's
feeling
Serena
old.
Williams' sister's name? Venus Williams. Sorry. Ask another question so we can keep going on here.
I know I'm here like fangirling against you guys, and I think that you guys are all awesome and beautiful and amazing. Who do you guys like freak out about when you meet?
So I've had a fangirl moment, a really bad one, where I had just finished talking. I was able to work on a movie with Al Pacino called 88 Minutes. Leave it to me to be in the one really crappy Al Pacino movie. and someone was asking me on set how it was to work with him, and I was like, oh yeah, it was cool. I was like, hey, how's it going? And we shot the scene, and it was really no big thing. And the actor who was co-starring with me on this movie, who was there last second to replace somebody else, heard that story, and then we started chatting. And he said, yeah, it was just like when I was on X-Files. And I went, sorry, what? He said, yeah, I was on X-Files. And I looked at him, and I went, inside, I went, oh my God, it's Skinner. I just, and he was like, do you need a minute? I said, I just need a minute. And he was like, didn't I just hear her say she was cool as a cucumber with Al Pacino? I was like, you're my new favorite person on the planet. So I had a fangirl moment with Mitch Pileggi. I freaked out.
I wrote, when I was a kid, I saw The Maltese Falcon, and I wrote my first and only love letter / fan letter to Humphrey Bogart. And my parents were so sweet to not tell me that he was dead. And so they made up this whole thing of his address in Beverly Hills, and they wrote out the envelope for me. I said, "Dear Mr. Bogart, I know I'm too young for you." So I went, even though you like younger women, my dad says. He's married to Betty McCall, right? And I went, and besides which, I even used which, besides which, your wife is really pretty. And then I asked him if he would send me a photo, please. And he didn't, so I hate actors ever since then. That's my fangirl.
How old were you?
Like one, no. I was like 8, 9. Yeah, and I saw the movie, so I thought he was alive. I didn't get dead, you know. And I thought he was just such a man. Not that I know what that was when I was 8.
Answer it, please.
Benedict Cumberbatch. Right? I was at a convention not too long ago in Australia, and he was there, and we all knew he was showing up at some point, and we were in the green room, and we didn't know when he was going to walk in the door. We were all very excited, and they brought us a bunch of Tim Tams. All different flavors of Tim Tams in the green room, and we were all hoarding which flavor we liked the best, and I grabbed one bag, eating these Tim Tams, and he walked in, unbeknownst to me, behind me, and and he's standing there, and he's like, oh, he's like, those look lovely. And I turned around with cookie in my teeth and all over my mouth, and I said, these are mine.
You're all thinking that she's going, you can have them.
So it wasn't meant to be.
This is just occurred to me because it literally happened yesterday. Yesterday. So I go to my local a coffee shop, and I'm there, and I'm bedraggled, and I'm racing to get ready for the flight and all that kind of stuff. And I walk my dog MacGyver. He's a 4-year-old golden retriever who is just ridiculous, the most beautiful creature you've ever met, but he's so peculiar. I think he's super intelligent, but other people say he has issues. But anyway, he's been shedding lately, and I brushed him, and he has an inside-out mohawk, so it looks like he's like barely skin on top, and then all this fluff everywhere else, and he's kind of big and nuggety, and anyway, whatever. So I put MacGyver outside, and I'm going to get my coffee, and I'm like, oh, I better not miss the plane and whatever, and I order it, and I look over, and it's the dude from Entourage. What's his name? I don't even know. He's so handsome. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, and the lady's like, can I help you? I'm like, not yet. I have to take a photo because my little brother, all my friends, we're all Entourage. We're freaks. I haven't seen the movie yet, but we just adore it. I'm like, kind of in speed. So anyway, I get my hot sweats, cold sweats, the whole thing, and I'm going, just go up and ask him for a photo. Go up and ask him for a photo. He's sitting with 2 other girls. They're like looking at him like this. I'm sure I'm just as interesting looking as those girls. It'll be fine, like this. I'm like, don't be an idiot. Get your coffee, walk outside. He's probably trying to have breakfast. So I'm like, get my coffee. And then he can see, I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to catch his attention because he's facing out the window. I'm going to look really sexy with my coffee. And so he's like sitting like he's where you guys are, and I got my coffee, and I'm like, and then MacGyver gets off the leash, and I'm like, MacGyver! So I didn't go back and ask him for a photo.
Okay, so this is a bit of an embarrassing story, but anyway, I grew up in Switzerland. I don't know if you guys knew that. And when I came to the States, I did not grow up with a lot of American TV shows or American movies or stuff. We were very limited in what we saw there on television. But one of the shows that was huge when I was growing up was the show called North and South. Do you guys know that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And there was an actor on that show that I thought at the time was really sexy, but it was more the fact that he was an actor and that he was on that show, and now here I'm in America and I want to be an actress, and I'm really green, and I go to Erewhon, which is a store in Los Angeles, and I'm in the freezer section, and I look around and I do a double take, and there is that guy. And so for me, it was like, it was the equivalent at the time as for anyone maybe now seeing, I don't know, Brad Pitt or Meryl Streep or something. It was just, he was the biggest thing that I had ever seen, right? For someone coming from Switzerland. And so I was thinking, God, what am I gonna do? I have to get this guy's attention. My friend Catherine was with me at the store, and she was in another section shopping for herself. And so I thought, okay, so if I speak something in Swiss German, maybe he'll go, where are you from? So I'm like, okay, Katrin, wo hast das Ding getan? And I just scream across the store like that. And sure enough, boom, like that. He looks over and goes, hey, where are you from? And it was like, it made my day, and I was shaking, and it was the most amazing thing, and I actually ended up dating the guy.
Only Sandra's story would end with, and then I dated him.
not mention his name, and it didn't turn out that well. So, and he certainly wasn't.
Yeah, but you won.
Best case scenario.
Okay, my story happened actually pretty recently. About 4 months ago, I was doing a show, and this one particular film, I pretty much raised my kids on it. I have 2 boys, they're now in their 30s. But we must have watched The Princess Bride a good 1,000 times at least. Well, the character Wesley, Carrie Elvis, was at a convention I was doing, and I lost my mind. I absolutely lost my mind. I like hurtled over tables and chairs to get to him, and he was behind a curtain, and the handler that he had was like half pit bull, half mastiff, you know, I mean, she was brutal. People don't recognize me because, of course, I was a child when I did my show, and so I'm unrecognizable. But I had my head shot with me. So I just stuck it in between the curtain like this in hopes that I could wave it around. And then I even started going like this because I wanted her to back off of me, you know. As long as I had these 2 things, I was allowed to be there, you know. I have my stuff. So, anyway, he, thank God, spots me and he says, "You are so sweet to come and see me." He doesn't know me from Adam. He goes, "Come on in." Well, then I start getting all the dagger eyes from all the fans that have been waiting for hours on end to come and see him, you know, that I've just majorly cut in front of. And so I get in there and oh my God, he hugs me and he says, "Wow," he goes, "you really," and in the sexiest freaking voice you have ever heard, he goes, "Wow," he goes, "you smell really nice." I'm sure you ladies have all had this experience where you go to the airport and you accidentally pack your really good perfume in your carry-on and those witchy poos steal it. And they're not gonna like hold on to it for you and give it back to you when you come around, you know, round trip. So anyway, I've learned to carry samples with me. So after he said, no, I knew exactly which one it was. But after he said that, I swear to God, I could not wait for that damn convention to end and get that plane. It could have flown me straight into the perfume counter at Macy's. I just wanted to get that Coco Chanel Noir. And I actually have it on today, so if anybody wants to come and see it.
Last question.
Oh, this lady had her hand up a while, and so did she. Can you do 2 small ones? Small ones?
Small one.
Okay, so my daughter is really nervous, won't speak. She wants to know, it's for Gigi, what was it like being on Moya?
Oh, amazing. I was like 23 years old and I lived on a spaceship for 5 years and I got to play in the uncharted territories and with this amazing cast, this amazing crew, and ever since I ever grew up, the Dark Crystal and the Labyrinth, I've been besotted and mesmerised by them. So when I was your age, I watched them like every single night for years on end. So then it's bizarre to me to like look back at that little girl and go, one day you're going to be part of that universe. And still, it's so cool to be asked to come back and host the Jim Henson Creature Shop Challenge recently as well, which is another awesome show. But yeah, I feel very, very blessed to be part of that adventure, and I'm a big fan of the Henson Company.
You still have the earrings?
I still have my more earrings.
Folks, the ladies of sci-fi, let's hear it one more time.
Yeah, exactly.
Ladies, these ladies here have some of the most beautiful voices I've heard in my life.
Oh yeah, right.
Including this one right here, she's a sweetheart. Yes, she is. How I met this one was at G3. I said, who the heck are you? She told me, she was like, oh my God, she's gorgeous.
Do you want us all to stand together? Come on, girlies.
While y'all doing that, I have an announcement to make for Miss Claudia Christian. No, Cairns if you want to. Get the brick from Denver if you want to, hon. As we know, Claudia Christian has her birthday coming up. I've been told if I tell her how old she is, she's going to punch me in the face.
Wow.
What?
She's 32.
Oh, stop it. 50. Jesus, I'm proud of it.
She said it, I didn't. But we're having a party for tonight at 7 o'clock at 301 Queen Anne Avenue in North Seattle.
Woohoo!
Claudia, oh, there's still tickets available, Claudia.
It's not in Tequila. Thanks, guys. We love you. Any gonna give me a lift home? Thank you.
That's been good, man. It's really stoked.